At 2:17 in the morning, Daniel Reed woke to the buzz of his phone. The bedroom was dark. Rain tapped softly on the glass. Down the hall, the old clock ticked, and through the wall, he could hear his daughter Lily breathing as she slept. He reached for the phone with half open eyes. One notification glowed on the screen, a message. But the second he saw the name above it, his whole body froze. The message was from Maya, his wife, the woman he had buried 5 years ago. Maya's name was still saved in his contacts, a photo still smiling beside it. The last vacation, her in that yellow dress, laughing. He had never deleted her number. He had never been able to. Even after 5 years, her side of the closet sat untouched. Her favorite mug still waited in the kitchen cabinet. People had told him it was time to move on. But how do you move on from the person who was your whole world? With trembling fingers, Daniel unlocked the phone. The message held only 9 words. Daniel, please don't be afraid. I kept my promise. He read it once, then again, then a third time. This had to be a mistake. Maybe someone else had her old number. Maybe a prank. But deep inside, Daniel knew. Those words weren't random. I kept my promise. The night before their wedding, he and Maya had sat beneath the old oak tree behind her parents' house. Maya had taken his hand and made him promise one thing. If one of us ever leaves first, she whispered, the other has to keep living. Promise me. So he did. Then she promised something back. No matter what happens, she said, I'll find a way to remind you. At the time, it felt like nothing more than a tender thing two people in love say in the dark. He never imagined those words would return 5 years after her funeral. Daniel tried calling the number. The call failed. The line was dead. Then a second message appeared. Look behind the piano. His stomach dropped. The piano sat downstairs in the living room. It had been Maya's. She used to play it after dinner while little Lily danced around the room. After Maya died, the piano went silent. Daniel hadn't touched it in years. He pulled on a sweater and went downstairs. He used his phone's flashlight, crossed to the piano, and pulled it away from the wall. At first, nothing, just dust. Then the light caught something, an envelope taped to the back panel. His hand shook as he peeled it free. His name was written on the front in Maya's handwriting. The curved D, the long tail on the Y. Inside was a small brass key and a folded note. If you found this, the message reached you. Go to Rosewood Storage, Unit 43. Take Lily only when you're ready. And Daniel, whatever you discover, remember this first. I loved you more than the truth I was afraid to tell. Daniel sat on the floor and read that last line again. More than the truth I was afraid to tell. What truth had Maya been hiding? He barely slept that night. When Lily came down for breakfast, she knew immediately something was wrong. She was 11, but she had Maya's eyes. That same quiet way of seeing straight through a lie. After she left for school, Daniel drove to Rosewood Storage. The man at the front desk typed in the unit number. Unit 43, under Maya Reed. Almost 6 years, paid in full, upfront. 6 years. Maya had set this up before she died. The man led him to Unit 43. The brass key clicked open the lock, and the door rolled up to reveal a room packed with boxes, each labeled in Maya's handwriting. Lily's 7th birthday, Lily's 8th birthday, Lily's 9th birthday. Daniel, when you can't sleep. Daniel, when you blame yourself. Daniel, when you finally smile again. Daniel pressed a hand over his mouth. For 5 years, he had believed Maya was simply gone. But here she was, in years of love she had quietly prepared before she ever left. At the back sat a larger box with a red ribbon. The note on top said, "Open this one first." Inside was an old laptop, one folder on the desktop for Daniel. He clicked the video inside. The screen went black. Then Maya appeared, sitting on their bed in the blue sweater he'd given her for their third anniversary. Her face looked tired, but her smile was soft and real. "Hi, Daniel." Her voice broke something open in his chest. He covered his mouth and wept. "If you're watching this, my plan worked," she said. "I know you hate secrets. I know you're angry, but please listen. I didn't hide things because I didn't trust you. I hid them because I loved you too much to fill our remaining time with fear." She paused. 6 months before the accident, I found out I had a serious heart condition. The doctor said I might have years or nothing at all. Daniel shook his head. She had never said a word. She had smiled every morning, packed Lily's lunch, kissed him goodbye, lived as if nothing could touch her. "I wanted to tell you so many times, but every time I tried, I saw your face. I knew you'd start counting every day we had left. I couldn't do that to us." She looked around at the stacks of boxes. "So, instead, I prepared videos for Lily, notes for the days you would feel most lost, and messages scheduled from my old number, in case you never found this place on your own." Daniel stared at his phone. The 2:17 a.m. message wasn't a ghost. It was Maya's plan. Then her expression shifted. "There's one more thing. The night I died, I wasn't going to the store, like everyone thought. I was going to meet someone from my past." The video ended. A second file sat in the folder. "When you are ready for the truth." He clicked it. Maya appeared again, sitting in her car, rain on the windows, her eyes wide and frightened. "Before I met you, there was a woman named Claire, my best friend, more like a sister. She disappeared before our wedding. I told you we lost touch. That wasn't true. She was running from someone, and she made me promise not to tell anyone where she'd gone. Years later, after Lily was born, Claire found me again. She was sick. She had a little boy named Noah, only 4 years old, and no one else in the world. The night I died, I was going to meet her. She didn't have much time left. She asked me to take Noah if anything happened to her." Daniel froze. He had never heard that name. After my own diagnosis, I knew I might not be able to keep that promise. So I prepared everything: legal papers, letters, addresses. It's in the blue folder in this box. Daniel, please don't let my fear become the reason another child gets forgotten." Daniel found the blue folder. Inside was a photo of a small boy with dark hair and sad eyes. Noah. He sat alone in that storage unit for a long time. His wife had carried all of this alone: a diagnosis, a secret, a promise she had died trying to keep. Bis that evening, he brought home a box labeled Lily. "When you miss me too much." Inside was a stuffed rabbit and a video where Maya smiled and said, "My sweet girl, missing someone doesn't mean they left you empty. It means they loved you enough to leave something behind in your heart." Lily cried. Daniel held her close. For the first time in years, Maya's voice didn't feel like a wound. It felt like warmth. Over the following weeks, Daniel followed every document Maya had left behind. Claire had died 4 years earlier. Noah was in foster care. Daniel made calls, visited offices, hit dead end after dead end, but refused to stop. Finally, he found him, a quiet 9-year-old in a foster home 2 cities away. "Did you know my mom?" Noah asked when they first met. Daniel knelt down. No, but my wife did, and she loved your mother very much. Noah stared at the floor. Then why didn't she come? He handed Noah a letter Maya had written long ago. Dear Noah, I knew your mother. She was brave and she loved you more than anything. If this letter finds you, it means I couldn't come myself. But please believe this. You were never forgotten. Noah cried quietly. So did Daniel. Months passed. Daniel and Lily began visiting Noah regularly. Slowly, Lily understood. Noah wasn't taking Maya away. He was part of the love Maya had left behind. Before an important hearing, Daniel's phone buzzed with another message from Maya's old number. Love doesn't end when a heart stops. Sometimes it becomes a road for someone else. He smiled through tears. 1 year after that first middle of the night message, Noah came home for good. On his new bed sat a box labeled Noah. If you ever come home. Inside was a toy train, a photo of Claire and Maya together, and one last video. Hi Noah, Maya said softly. I hope you are safe. I hope you are loved. She looked into the camera. And Daniel, I always knew your heart had more room in it than you believed. Noah cried into Lily's shoulder. The house didn't feel broken anymore. It felt full. On what would have been Maya's birthday, one final message arrived. Daniel was making pancakes while Lily and Noah laughed at the table. His phone buzzed. Maya's name appeared one last time. Daniel, this is the last one. If you made it this far, you kept your promise too. You kept living. You kept loving. And you gave my unfinished love somewhere to go. He stepped out onto the porch as the morning sun rose. For years, grief had felt like a room he would never escape. Now he understood. Maya hadn't come back from the dead. She had left behind something stronger than a ghost. Love hidden behind a piano. Love stored in boxes. Love written in letters that found their way to exactly the right hands. When Daniel received a message from his wife 5 years after her death, he thought it would destroy him. Instead, it brought his family back to life.